A year ago now, we waved goodbye to our dear ones. We packed up our family of 9 and the few possessions we had left that we hadn't sold or given away, and began the long journey of driving to Brisbane to the international airport. We saw our last gum trees, we heard our last kookaburras, and we packed our things in 16 suitcases and climbed on board that plane to fly over the vast ocean to move our family from Australia to America. It was exciting, it was sad, it was daunting, it was stepping out into the unknown. We really did not know what we were going to do in America, but we knew that the Lord had called us there to be closer to family, and we knew we still wanted to be in a place where we could grow food and have space for our young family. The children and I had never even visited America before, so it was all brand new. When we arrived, we were completely exhausted from 35 long hours on different planes, but we arrived to stay at an Airbnb on Lake Houston that was a perfect landing place for our tired bodies to be able to get over jet lag, adjust to the new time zone, and spend some time just getting our feet on the ground and visiting with family that we hadn't seen in a very long time. It was a very special time of reconnecting and just trying to learn about this new land that we had come to. There were so many new things to see and experience and look at. We were beside ourselves with excitement every time we saw a squirrel. That was so brand new. We had never seen them before and thought they were so adorable.
This one? No, Chip and Dale. Chips.
So
Chip
cute.
and Dale.
I'm not calling Chip.
Chippy. I'm going to call him Chipmunk.
As we waited in our Airbnb and really didn't know what the future held, we met some people who wanted to start a garden, had never really done it before, and didn't know where to start. So we came over to their house and helped them to design and plant their first garden. I started going to garage sales, looking for deals and things that I would need to restart my kitchen, especially when we finally found our new house. The spaghetti roads of Houston were terrifying, but we got out of the house and started looking around, driving through Texas to surrounding areas outside of Houston that might be of interest to us. After weeks of searching, we finally found a little rental place that was a month-to-month rental owned by people who have now become long-term friends. It was just the perfect spot that we needed to be able to get our feet on the ground a little bit more and figure out what was next. There was 27 acres of beautiful land for the children to run and play and hunt for crawfish, and that was an adventure discovering what that was all about, and they had hours of fun digging for crawfish. We started having our first birthdays in America with no friends and family around, which was honestly a bit tough, but it's something we did together as a family and will always remember. Through the Abundance Plus community, we found some friends that we had reached out to online and met, and they'd invited us to their farm. So we went and saw them up at Mount Pleasant, and that was just a great day out, and it also gave us a connection to like-minded people who were doing really what we wanted to do. It was a beautiful day. We enjoyed ourselves. They gave us a lot of local information and knowledge. We learnt about poison ivy and things that we needed to look out for, and met all their animals, and at the end of the day they sent us home with a beautiful big bag of eggs, a perfect gift. I was gifted my first sourdough starter here in America and was finally able to start making sourdough bread again. I was so relieved. We had a beautiful big mulberry tree in the backyard and the kids picked dozens of them. They didn't eat all of them, and even enough for me to cook up some. We weren't in our permanent place yet, but we couldn't wait any longer. I started seeds, we built a little makeshift worm farm, and we got permission and went out into the paddock and collected manure from the cows that were there, or they were bulls actually, and then made our first no-dig garden bed, which we didn't end up having enough time there to reap a harvest from, but we just had to get out in the garden, and we really were a bit late in the season. It was kind of like the height of summer by now and a bit too hot, but we couldn't wait.
Australia.
Where did we come from, Zion?
Australia.
And where are we now?
In America.
What you doing?
I'm trying to stop this and eat my food.
It was around this time our rental property was broken into. We didn't lose much because I actually disturbed the intruder when I came home in the middle of the day, just me and the little kids, and I didn't come face to face with him or her, I don't know. They ran off and I kind of jumped in the car and ran off as well. It was terrifying and very unsettling. As a result of this, and at the sheriff's advice, we decided to get a couple of puppies. It was so much fun for the kids and for all of us, and hopefully when they grow up, they'll be an added measure of security.
We have a doggy and his name is Shadow. Question. We have 2 doggies. That one's Molly and this one's Shadow. Hey, go on, guys!
As we continued to drive around looking at different properties and praying about what the future might hold and what we were supposed to do, the boys decided they would really like to start a little chicken business, and so we thought, why not? So we helped them get started. They invested their savings and bought a lot of the equipment that was needed and bought these little chickies that came home to be part of our family.
Those two are fighting. Okay, give it up. Ridiculous. The black one's ridiculous. Can I hold it one more time? Can I hold it one more time? I kind of want to hold the black and white one, a black and yellow one.
Not too tightly, Grace.
I know.
So having little chicks meant it's time to build a big brooder and then time to build a chicken tractor. Now, building skills are not something that either my husband and I have in our repertoire of skills. So this is something we are learning from the bottom up. Everyone pitched in and helped out, but it was really just my husband and the older 2 boys who got the plans to this John Suskovich chicken tractor and just started building it and figured it out as they went and had to, stop and start and learn things along the way. But I was so proud of them. At the end of the day, we have this amazing, beautiful chicken tractor all ready for our chookies. The next thing we knew, it was 4th of July, and boy, were we in for a treat. Fireworks are illegal in Australia unless you're a licensed person to do that. So this was brand new to us, and our landlord came out and gave us a personal fireworks display.
Here you go, kids. Watch. Yes. Watch, kids.
Then we drove a couple of hours to visit some friends that we also met them on Abundance Plus to help them out with their chicken butchering day and learn and develop skills that we were going to need eventually when we get our own meat chickens. Then it was back home to the rental property where we kept looking, we kept working, our little chickens were growing, and our little tiny patch that we had planted started to grow. We got our first watermelon and grew our first sunflower while we were on that rental property. Then finally, after months of living out of suitcases, we found where we were supposed to be, renting this property of about 11 acres from family. It had a bit of work that needed to be done, but we were up for the task. So we set to work painting and cleaning and throwing out rubbish and doing all that was needed so that we could move in. One of the unexpected blessings that just blew us away was how that people from the community, people we had met in church or from my husband's work, they just volunteered and came around and helped us with all the things that we needed to do, and it made such a difference. It didn't take long for the kids to start exploring through the woods and start building forts and cubby houses.
Oh! Yeah.
Go down there, Trace.
Ready? 3, 2, 1, go!
Yeah!
A few weeks later, we took a road trip where we drove from Texas to Tennessee to see my brother and his family. So good to see them. Then we drove through the Smoky Mountains and on down to South Carolina, where we attended for our 20th wedding anniversary, took the kids with us and went to the Farm Where You Live festival. And it was such a good trip. The highlight for sure at the Farm Where You Live festival was meeting some of our long-term mentors, people we'd read their books like Joel Salatin and Sean and Beth Doherty, and we got to meet Jess and Jeremiah from Roots and Refuge and actually ended up having the blessing of becoming good friends with them and being invited back to their farm to spend the weekend. A very unexpected blessing. We, of course, had to teach them how to do Tim Tam slams, and they took us to the zoo and our kids really connected well together. It was just great. One of the biggest things to come out of our trip to South Carolina was that Jess gave me, I guess, the inspiration and the courage, the encouragement to go ahead and start my own YouTube channel, which is something I have thought about for a long time but just lacked the courage to jump into it. So it was back to our little farm to start work on building this homestead from scratch. My husband organised for a local tree lopping company to drop us off all their mulch and their clippings from trees. Now this was going to be our plan for rebuilding our pastures and building our garden beds with all of this free carbon. Then the weather began to cool, the leaves began to change colour, and all of a sudden we were experiencing our first ever fall. The autumn was here and the leaves were just beautiful, the colours were mesmerising. We really enjoyed experiencing this season for the first time. Christmas 2023 was a special time with family. The first time in many, many years that the whole family had been together for Christmas on my husband's side, and just very grateful for the days we get to spend with his parents, who are now in their 80s. After Christmas, we had the very hard goodbye as our eldest son, Isaiah, 19 years old, decided to move back home to Australia for the immediate future. Our teenage boys finished out their first ever official basketball season with some really sweet shots. We were so proud of them. They had a blast. So it turns out January in East Texas is very, very chilly indeed. And these 9 little Aussies got to see their first ever snow. Is it really snow?
It's snow. That's snow.
Is it snow or is it freezing rain?
I think it's snow.
No, it's mine.
That's snow, like a bit bigger.
I don't know. We don't know. We've never seen it. Oh, I can see white.
Me too. Is this what snow looks like?
I don't know. Sorry? You're collecting it? Off the mat? Show me. believe right now is about 28 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about -2, I think. And tomorrow it's supposed to get to 14, which is like -10, which is completely insane to me. I know for a lot of Americans that's like not a big deal, but that's very chilly. It started to warm up again and we decided to butcher 3 roosters, and our neighbour came over with a couple of his Cornish gross. Just look how big that is compared to the roosters. Thing is massive.
That is slightly,
Yeah, it does. It does look like a turkey.
so that's why, yeah, it's what you gotta
Look at that.
We made another big road trip to South Carolina because we're a sucker for long road trips, and saw Jess and Jeremiah and recorded a video there, picked up some beautiful bakeware that she gave us and headed home. Home again and seed starting time. I was so pumped for this, and getting garden beds ready, building no dig garden beds, and we built a hugelkultur bed, and just so excited to get started on the spring season. Remember that friend I told you about that we met on Abundance Plus? Well, we went back to their farm and we went to an ag festival together, because that's what you do.
Because how we met is kind of interesting and might benefit some other people out there who are wanting to do this, grow your own food, live a more agrarian life kind of deal.
Joel Salatin was there, and they had motocross, which I thought was horrifying, but the kids loved it. And finally, our little boys entered their first ever county fair with the bread and the coffee table. Phew, what an epic year. What a grand adventure. It has been nothing short of amazing. It is true there have been some really hard things, but there have also been some amazingly beautiful things, some astonishing things, and we are seeing what it's like to live on the other side of the world. So we want to embrace this season and all that it has with joy and hope, and we just want to say thank you for being here with us. Thank you for all of the words of encouragement. Thank you for just coming along on this journey with us, 9 little Aussies, growing our little homestead here in a new land.